In this video I'm going to take a look at a partnership agreement, having a partnership agreement drawn up. The reason I want to address this topic in the video is because it's misunderstood. Let me explain. People come to me from time to time, small business owners or entrepreneurs or people who are going to start a business, and they're going to start a business with their friend perhaps, or colleague or workmate or somebody that they know well. They're going to go into partnership, and that's fine. They come to me then and they look for a partnership agreement to be drafted, which they'll both sign and enter into. And I give them a quotation for it, and I never hear from them again. And I'm not in the least bit surprised that I don't hear from them again, because the cost of it is far more than they anticipate. But the reason for that is a proper partnership agreement is not just a question of the two persons involved deciding to go into partnership, pitching in a few bob and dividing the profits between them, and that's all they really need. A one-page document will do, and that'll suffice. It won't, and that's the reality of it. People don't understand that, and I am looking to address that particular misconception and misunderstanding in this video, because I'm going to look at what should be considered and what does go into making up a partnership agreement. I'm looking at a deed of partnership there that I've drafted for clients on my computer screen, and I'll just go through it and ask or have a look at the type of questions that I would be asking. So firstly, we're looking at the type of business that the partnership is going to engage in. When does it commence, and how long is it to last? Is it for a fixed period of time, or is it to go on permanently in perpetuity? What will the partnership name be? What will the place of business be? A big one then is the question of capital. How much capital does each partner put in, and how is it put in, and in what format? I mean, for example, could it be put in by way of cash and or assets, or just cash? Could contributions, for example, be made in some other way to the partnership which might be recognised in some sort of a capital account? Profits and losses. How are the partners going to share profits and losses? Perhaps 50-50, fair enough. What about those of a capital nature? Drawings. How will the partners draw funds or money out of the account? How will the partnership accounts be maintained and reviewed from time to time? Salaries. Will there be a salary? Will there be a salary if there's a loss? Will there only be a salary if there is profits being generated by the partnership? What about time devoted to the business? How much time should each partner devote? Should each partner devote the whole of his time and attention to the partnership business, or could they be engaged in something else, for example another business or indeed a job? Where will the bank account be held? Decision making. Decision making is a very big one, because if you have a partnership with only two partners, you have the potential for deadlock. You have the potential for sort of an impasse in relation to, let's say, taking on a new employee or indeed a new premises. There may be a divergence of opinion, a difference of opinion as to that decision, and how do you break the deadlock? There's also the question of ordinary decisions that might be made on a day-to-day basis in the normal course of events, running, let's say, a coffee shop, or let's say a shop. I mean, do you have the authority as a partner to pay out cash, for example, up to a certain amount? That is probably going to be necessary to run a business from a completely practical perspective, but you need to set a limit on the amount of cash that any one partner can divvy out on an ongoing basis. So again, that needs to be looked at. The question then of decision making needs to be looked at. That's a big one, because inevitably partners start off with the best intentions in the world, but down the line differences of opinion can arise, and people can go genuinely in their own separate directions and develop different interests, and perhaps one of the partners is completely wedded to the business, and perhaps the other partner has become frustrated and disillusioned. So the question of decision making is important. How will deadlock, how will a standoff essentially be resolved? Accounts. Obviously you need to make provision for an accountant doing the regular accounts and ensuring that partnership accounts, internal accounts and accounts which will be submitted to the revenue commissioners, the pay tax and VAT and so on will be looked after. Negative covenants is another one. No partner shall, except with the consent in writing of the other partner, contract any debt, etc., etc., enter into a mortgage, make any drawing from the business, carry on or be interested or concerned in any business, employment, etc. So will there be negative covenants? What negative covenants will be in it? To what extent will they cover you? Perhaps being involved in some other business, having another interest, perhaps having a job or a profession. Retirement. What is the position in relation to retirement? How can you retire? Is there a retirement age? What happens to your share of the partnership when you do want to retire? Expulsion. Can expulsion arise? It certainly should. If a partner, for example, becomes bankrupt, if a partner breaks any of the negative covenants or commits any serious breach or persistent breaches of the partnership agreement, can they be expelled? If they are to be expelled, what procedure is to be adopted to do so? What happens if a partner fails to pay any money due to the partnership within 28 days of a written request for that? So the question of expulsion is something that would need to be looked at. The question of an outgoing partner's share, assuming that there is an outgoing partner, what happens with the outgoing partner's share? Is there going to be an option to purchase that for the other partner? That would make sense. But again, the other partner can't say or make a ridiculous offer that seriously undervalues the value of the partner's share. So again, that's something that needs to be resolved. What is the story if the other partner doesn't exercise the option or plays silly buggers and doesn't give enough money and, as I say, undervalues the share of the departing partner? What happens then? The question of documents then, upon any partner leaving the partnership, all documents, accounting records, letters, papers, flyers, anything related to the partnership should be changed and amended to reflect the departing partner. Restrictive covenants, that's another one. If a partner leaves, for example, is there going to be a restrictive covenant preventing them from being involved in a similar business for a certain period of time over a certain geographical area for 12 months afterwards, 6 months afterwards? What's the geographical area? 25 miles, 50 miles, etc., etc. Arbitration. Any dispute arising from the partnership agreement should probably go to arbitration first. But what are the arrangements for arbitration? What's the actual procedure? Both partners then will seal it, obviously, or sign it rather, and witness it. And a schedule will contain the number of shares or the contribution rather of capital that each partner might make. And you could also have a schedule then of permitted decisions or permitted transactions, for example, that any one partner may be able to carry out. Or you could have a schedule or a list of transactions that will require both partners agreeing. So you can see from what I've referred to there, the various questions, the various issues that might arise, that Mary and Jane or John and Mick going into a partnership saying to me, I want a simple one-page partnership document, we're great mates, we're great friends, we're going to split the profits 50-50, coming to me and saying that, and then I give them a quotation for a partnership agreement, a proper one. You can see how there would be a major divergence of expectation or view. In other words, they have the bulls as to what might be involved, and I never hear from them again, which is fair enough, it's up to themselves. But I'm saying to you quite clearly that if you want a partnership agreement, a proper partnership agreement, there's a lot of issues you need to consider, a lot of factors you need to consider, and they are the ones that I have covered in this video. There may well be others, and it will depend on your particular circumstances. For example, the intellectual property that one partner may bring to a partnership rather than the other partner. For example, one partner may have invented something or may have a particular skill in graphic design or trademarks or something of that nature. So, I hope you find the video useful. I would appreciate if you gave it the thumbs up down below. If you do, thanks a lot.